Bioluminescent plants, glowing forests. You sent over excerpts from a news article and also a social media post, and they give such a fascinating contrast.
Right. One is full of this dazzling, almost, utopian vision.
Totally. And the other one, it brings us right back to the lab bench.
Yeah.
The current science, the real hurdles.
And it's that mix, the big dream versus the step-by-step scientific reality that makes this so interesting right now, I think.
Definitely. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We'll take both perspectives, look at where this glowing tech actually stands today, explore the potential, and really dig into the challenges scientists are facing.
So by the end, you should have a much clearer picture of what's genuinely happening in this field.
Yep. Ready to get into it?
Please do it.
Okay, let's kick off with that really exciting vision, the one from the social media post you shared. It just paints this incredible scene, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine strolling through a park where trees light up the night. No bulbs, no wires, just pure magical glow. Instantly makes you think of
Avatar's Pandora. Right, that's the comparison they made.
exactly that kind of natural, almost ethereal beauty, but like right here on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it mentions the inspiration too, fireflies, glowing mushrooms, nature's own lanterns.
It's a really powerful image. It taps into something, I think, this idea of blending light and nature seamlessly, beautifully, not just sticking at metal poles.
Absolutely. And the benefits pitched in that post, they're huge.
That's revolutionary sounding.
Right. Slashing energy bills by swapping streetlights for trees, cutting carbon emissions massively, turning cities into enchanting wonderlands, making streets safer,
Giving the planet a boost.
and all powered by sunlight and CO2. I mean, it sounds like the perfect solution, a total game changer for cities and sustainability.
It really captures the ultimate dream, the big what if that gets people excited and drives research.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
Well, yeah, that's where the news article you sent comes in. It sort of grounds things. It makes it clear that this vision, the one with glowing forests replacing all our streetlights, well, that's still a ways off, as they put it.
Right. Okay, so the news source pulls back a bit, but not in a discouraging way, more like highlighting the actual tangible progress.
Exactly. It shows that while the grand vision is out there, the reality now is about specific steps forward, using several different scientific approaches, not just one magic bullet.
So it's not like everyone's trying to build a glowing oak tree overnight.
No, not at all. It's more like different teams are exploring different paths, different technologies to see what works best for different aspects of creating biological light.
Okay, so let's get into those specifics from the news source. What are scientists actually doing in the labs right now? What are these different paths?
Well, one of the really prominent methods is genetic engineering, using genes from luminous mushrooms.
Mushrooms, like the ones that glow faintly in the forest.
Exactly those. The article points to a company, Light Bio, and what's pretty amazing is they're not just publishing papers, they actually have a product. Firefly petunias.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. You can actually buy a glowing petunia, like right now.
If you're in the contiguous U.S., yeah. It's a real consumer product, which is a massive step, from lab concept to something people can have in their homes.
Wow. How do they work?
They're genetically engineered. They've taken genes from those luminous mushrooms and integrated them right into the petunia's DNA.
So the plant itself makes the light.
That's right. The article describes it as a soft, self-sustaining green glow. Apparently, it's strongest in the flower buds. And the key thing is, it doesn't need special food or UV lights or anything. It just glows, using its own energy.
Okay, so soft glow. Not like blindingly bright, but visible, ambient.
Pretty much. Think mood lighting, not reading light. But Light Bio and their collaborators, they're pushing it. The article mentions they're working on making things brighter.
How much brighter?
Potentially by up to 100 times. They're optimizing those mushroom genes, building on earlier work about how mushroom bioluminescence can kind of sync up with plant metabolism.
100 times.
Okay.
Now that starts to sound like it could be useful for more than just, a cool novelty.
It could be, yeah. So that's one major route. Genetic engineering, mushroom genes, already commercialized in petunias, aiming for higher intensity.
Got it. What else? Are the other methods totally different?
Yeah, completely different ideas being tested. One that sounds really interesting comes from MIT engineers, and this one doesn't actually change the plant's genes at all.
No genetic modification. How does it glow then?
They embed specialized nanoparticles inside the plant leaves.
Nanoparticles, like tiny engineered bits, in the leaf.
Microscopic particles infused into the leaf tissue. The article mentions they use a phosphorescent compound Strontium aluminate is the example given.
Okay, that's different from bioluminescence, right? Like glow-in-the-dark stars.
Exactly like that. Bioluminescence is a chemical reaction making light inside the organism. Phosphorescence is where a material absorbs light energy and then releases it slowly over time. It glows after the light's gone.
Okay, so how does it work with the plant?
You basically charge the nanoparticles in the leaf, shine an LED on it for just a few seconds,
And then?
and then the leaf glows brightly for several minutes, and you can recharge it again and again.
So it's bright, but temporary, needs recharging. What's the advantage there compared to the petunia?
Good question. The article points out a key thing. This nanoparticle way has shown to produce brighter and longer-lasting light than earlier attempts using firefly enzymes.
Firefly enzymes. So people tried that too.
Oh, yeah. Fireflies were an obvious inspiration, but getting their light-making chemistry, their enzymes, to work well and brightly inside plants has been tough. This nanoparticle method, even though it needs charging, seems to deliver a brighter punch for that short time.
So maybe useful for things like temporary path markers or signals, not constant light.
Could be. It's a different potential application. So we've got genetic engineering for a constant low glow and nanoparticles for brighter rechargeable bursts.
Any other weird and wonderful methods?
There is. Another one involves fungi again, but in a totally different way. Researchers in Switzerland figured out how to make wood glow.
Wood, not a living plant.
Dead wood, yeah. They partner it with specific fungi, like the ringless honey fungus. This fungus grows into the wood, and it naturally produces luciferin, that's the light-making molecule, same stuff fireflies use, and makes the wood itself glow.
You're kidding. Glowing wood.
Apparently. The article describes a striking neon green glow coming right from the fungus-infused wood. And it lasts a decent while, too, up to 10 days on its own.
10 days? That's pretty impressive. What's the idea there?
They're thinking maybe portable lighting devices, or maybe architectural features made from this glowing biohybrid material. It's fungus plus wood.
That is genuinely wild. Like something out of a fantasy story, real glowing logs.
It really shows the range of thinking, doesn't it? Looking beyond just fiddling with living plants.
Definitely broadens the possibilities. Any others mentioned?
One more quick mention of work in China. A biotech startup, Magic Pen Bio. They're reportedly creating high-brightness, self-luminous sunflowers.
Sunflowers. That sounds bigger.
Yeah, and their approach sounds like maybe a mix. The source says they're optimizing enzymes and combining multiple genes from fireflies and bioluminescent mushrooms.
Trying to get the best of both.
Seems like it. Trying to combine different genetic tools to really crank up the brightness so it's clearly visible to the naked eye.
Okay, let's just quickly recap the scientific paths from the news source. We've got genetically engineered petunias that glow constantly, and you can buy them now, with work ongoing to make them way brighter. The nanoparticle leaves that glow brightly but temporarily after charging.
Right.
Wood that glows for days thanks to a specific fungus.
Yep.
And reports of brighter sunflowers using combined genetic approaches from fireflies and mushrooms.
That's a pretty good summary. It shows this isn't one single track. It's a whole portfolio of research.
It really is.
Yeah.
Each with different strengths, weaknesses, potential uses.
Okay.
Okay, let's bring this back to you, our listener. We started with that really exciting social media vision, glowing parks, saving the planet, the whole Avatar vibe.
A big dream.
Then we dove into the news article, the science bit, all these different methods, the petunias, the nanoparticles, the fungi, the actual nitty-gritty work.
So what does this all actually mean for us right now? Where do things stand? Well, I think it means that the grand vision, the one where glowing trees replace every single streetlight, that's still firmly in the future, a future goal.
Not happening next year, then?
Definitely not. The science is moving forward. You can see tangible progress like the petunias. But the capabilities right now across all these methods just aren't at the scale or the brightness needed for huge infrastructure projects like city lighting.
Yeah, the news source was pretty blunt about that, wasn't it? Saying the current light intensity is generally still too low for replacing things like streetlights.
That's really the core technical challenge for that specific dream application. The amount of light you get from these biological reactions or materials per square inch or whatever just isn't enough yet to light up a whole street effectively.
But importantly, the article also stressed that scientists know this. They're working on it. Increasing brightness and duration, that's the focus.
Absolutely. The research isn't just, can we make it glow? It's very much, how can we make it glow brighter and for longer? They're targeting the exact things needed to make it more practical.
Now, back to that social media post. Even with all the excitement, it did raise a couple of fair questions, like could these glowing plants confuse birds or bugs?
Mm.
And the big one, will they ever glow bright enough? The news source did touch on that ecological point, right?
It did. It specifically mentioned that scientists are working on addressing concerns about the potential ecological impacts of releasing genetically modified organisms. That's a big one, especially for the genetically engineered plants.
Because introducing something that glows all night could mess with nocturnal animals. Or insects.
Potentially, yeah. Animals that rely on darkness for cover or navigation or mating. Introducing novel light sources could disrupt that, and insects might be attracted or repelled in unexpected ways, which could affect pollination or the plant's health or the local food web.
So it's not just about the tech challenge of brightness.
Yeah.
There's this whole other layer of ecological safety and, I guess, regulation.
Exactly. Before you release something like this widely into the environment, especially if it's genetically modified, you have to do careful studies to understand the potential ripple effects. It's a really crucial part of developing this kind of tech responsibly.
Okay, so bringing this all together for you, the listener, why should you care about this now? Maybe you saw those flashy headlines or posts and wondered, is this real? Maybe you're just into cool, sustainable tech, or the blend of biology and engineering.
Or maybe you just think glowing plants sound awesome and want to know what's actually possible.
Right. This deep dive, hopefully, has shown the journey from that almost sci-fi dream of glowing forests
To the real-world lab work, the different techniques, the challenges, the incremental progress. It's complex, but it's definitely moving.
It shows how even ideas that seem like pure magic are tackled with methodical science, facing technical problems, and also those really important broader questions.
Absolutely.
So just to quickly summarize what we've covered in this deep dive, we looked at that big, ambitious dream, bioluminescent forests lighting our cities, inspired by nature.
And we contrasted that with the scientific reality from your sources, the different methods being pursued. Genetic engineering with mushroom or firefly genes.
Nanoparticles for rechargeable light.
And even using fungi to make wood glow.
We saw that real products, like the glowing petunias, are actually here, which is a concrete step forward, even if replacing all streetlights is still, quite a way down the road because of brightness and duration limits.
And we noted that the research isn't standing still. It's pushing hard on improving that brightness and duration, while also starting to tackle the vital ecological questions, especially around GMOs.
So maybe a final thought for you to take away. Building on these different approaches we discussed, we've got plants glowing from engineered DNA, leaves glowing with embedded tech that needs a charge, wood glowing because of a fungus living in it. Thinking about these different paths, what kind of nature's nightlight would you feel most comfortable with in the future?
Yeah, does the how matter? Is a genetically tweaked tree different, in your mind, from wood infused with fungus or a leaf with nanoparticles?
Does the origin of the glow change how you'd feel about seeing it light up a park or street? Something to think about as this technology keeps developing.
It definitely raises interesting questions about how we want to weave technology into the natural world, doesn't it?
It really does. And that wraps up our deep dive into the fascinating world of bioluminescent plants. We hope digging into your sources has, illuminated the state of this glowing field.